Nice, dude. Nice.
Nice.
Nice, bro.
Are you recording that, dude? For
I'm recording it.
Nice.
Maybe we just roll. Welcome. We're back in the office. Busy again. Busy again.
Oh.
I love recording podcasts in the energy.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying, dude?
yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I really do. I really do.
Here's one I have a passionate take about.
Let's go.
Cues from the internet. Would you share your employee handbook? I'm super interested in it. The answer, yes, but
Gotta pay to play.
well, I mean,
Somewhat.
the
Go. Passionate about it.
yep,
Go.
here we go. Looking at someone else's handbook can help you maybe 10% for some sort of inspiration, but really the juice is all in the process of creating the handbook.
True.
So happy to show it to you. Maybe we'll show it to you. We're working on documenting some of our training stuff and sharing some of the things we do with the world. But until we get there, just start making your own. And it's going to be a complete mess, and it's going to be very frustrating, and you're going to forget things, and that's all part of the process. It's great. It's great. There's something about doing the thing that'll equip you more than just looking at someone else's.
I mean, these are facts. We could literally, we've said this many, many times. In fact, I'll give credit also to, I remember talking to Doug Zell when I was like a young barista, and Doug Zell was like a big founder owner of Intelligentsia before they sold. But he was like, here's the thing. Most people don't realize this is I will tell them A plus B plus C, every single detail. Disney Institute was the same way. We're going to tell you exactly how we do it, and you most likely would not do it the same way as I would. And even if you tried to, it wouldn't be successful because it works for me because it's the way we do business and it's authentic to who we are as a company. So it's like a lot of the concepts make sense. Disney Institute was the same. They're like, this is how we do it. Your job will be to take all these concepts and be smart enough to take them and implement them into your systems, into your company in the way that makes the best sense. There's some things that make total sense everywhere, which is metrics. A plus B equals C. Numbers don't lie. But how you make those numbers come to fruition is so much so on how you operationalize them, culturally integrate them, and everything else.
right.
It just won't matter unless you really truly want us to come consult for you, which you maybe could pay Chris, Charles, and myself to do, and to like show you exactly how and help you like create a whole company. Like that's an option, but it also means you have to take whatever that is, live it out forever after that, or else it still will not work for you.
Well, what do you need a handbook for? Right?
Right.
Think about that and then write those things down.
Right.
I need a handbook for this, and that. That's your rough outline for creating that handbook. So we wanted it to have all, it's kind of like a booster course for our culture.
Right.
Everything you would need to know to begin to engage with the Cat and Cloud culture.
Sure.
So our handbook has our mission in it. It's got our values in it. It's got important information like when are pay periods? What are pay dates? What's appropriate of this? What's appropriate of that? It's not a mind bender by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's really well put together because we did a lot of editing on it. So
Sure.
it's very thoughtful.
Yeah.
And it's also very beautiful looking. So when you come to orientation and you get the handbook in combination with the passport, it's a signal that says, hey, we put intention, effort, energy into this, and we expect some effort, intentionality, and energy from you.
Totally.
And I think those things help tell your story and are almost like it's like this little calling card. It's like, hey, we take this shit pretty seriously, serious enough to put this thing together. Because
Right.
it doesn't have to exist.
No.
We can put all of those things on a doc and say, read the
it.
doc,
Yeah.
but it just feels different. Right?
It definitely does. My
So-
docs are hag looking, dude.
So make whatever version of that works for you. Start there, and at some point we'll figure out how to share these things. Ways to pay yourself as a coffee shop owner.
Just do it,
What's the
Nike.
secret?
Just Nike it, dude. Just do it. Just kidding. It's not that secret.
I mean, you have to be a part of your own P&L. Your salary is part of
Build
the
it in.
P&L of the organization. So when we started, we knew we'd have to take money right away. So when we're building out the schedule, what it looks like to run this efficient cafe, we put salaries that were, of course, much lower than what we were making where we were working prior because we're a brand new business.
Yeah.
And saying like, oh, cool, how does it work? And then
Build yourself into the P&L.
build yourself into the P&L and
It's profit and loss, guys.
Set some goals for yourself.
No, it's true. I mean,
know?
we were all employees. We all had positions, and that's how our business was structured. It also was, formulated as so, right? And you can look into all this on your own time, but, between LLC or sole proprietor or G Corp, C Corp, or whatever else you may find your way to, we set it up in such a way where that's how we did it. We all took a salary, we all had a position, and we all worked those positions. And that's how you pay yourself, and you make yourself a part of it. Or you can go the other route, which is more challenging, and that all comes from taking profit from the bottom line and cash position and so on and so forth. And that still also can work if you play your way into it. It's just you have to plan for it and do it.
Yeah, it depends on how you see yourself interacting with the company.
Yep.
If you want to take a draw off company profits, you could set it up that way. But you have to have company profits.
You also have to just
to do it, and
account for yourself.
It's almost
and not
like
mess
6 of
yourself
one,
up.
half a dozen of the other.
Exactly.
If there's no money to pay yourself, then there's probably not a lot of money at the end of the month or at the end of the year for company profits. So what we're really asking is a sustainability question, where it's how can I run my business to where it does what it needs to do for me for this to be a long-term situation?
Right. I mean, if you erase the whole thing out and you're all, okay, my company makes $1,000 a day. I need to work on it. I need to make a certain amount to pay my personal bills at home. How many days a week do I have to work based on what bills I need to pay and what people are here to not go insane and to pay myself? And it is truly as simple as that at the beginning.
Yeah, it's
until you need to not do things.
100%.
And it gets more complicated.
I think where people get messed up are, one, expectations. If you're coming from a place where you had a job like we had, where we were making more money at this other job than we were owning a business, it's a little bit of a shocker. There's this expectation like, I should be able to make more because I own the business. It's actually the opposite. You're generally going to take the hit for X amount of time because you believe in the ability of this thing to replace that income and then some.
Yeah.
At least I hope you do, because if you don't, then it's just, again,
Work for
depending
someone
on what
else.
your lifestyle is, it's just not a long-term, it's not a long-term solution. So it's almost a non-answer, but it's just a really simple thing. You are an employee of your company.
Fact.
You've got to pay your employees. You've got to pay yourself. If you can't pay yourself, it's not going to work out.
You work for a company, not yourself.
Unless you have a really rich wife, a really rich husband. That would be great. Like,
totally.
Come on.
Get your partner to ball for you so you
let's
just do whatever you want.
go, bro. With rising prices, will guests dial back their complicated drinks? I doubt it.
Moving on. Nah.
Next.
They want what they want.
Yeah, people will always find a
want what they
way
want.
to get their treats.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
They're going to give up more expensive things like meals than before they give up their coffee, most likely.
Yeah, it's unlikely that I see, if I'm looking at our tickets next door at Swift Street, I doubt in the next 3 years we're going to see, espresso's jumping up
It's
from
number
X
one?
percent to 50 to 60, 70% of sales is
nah.
straight espresso. Not going to happen.
Not going to do
No
it.
freaking chance.
Wouldn't be prudent.
What does the conversation look like when an employee brings an issue / frustration to you?
I mean, that's so dependent on what it is, right? I mean, again, this is where if you have a good company values, clear rules, clear regulations, clear chain of command, then there's an understanding as to when and why somebody will bring an issue to you. So if you as an owner, it's going to be different than you as a leader, right? I mean, and
Yeah,
it's
so
like that's
it's
a layered
really
question.
rare. Yeah, it's
Used to
really
happen all
rare
the
that
time.
Jared or I will field these things from frontliners.
Yeah.
They're going to go to their coordinator. They're going to go to their team leader.
But it has only been, call it 3 or 4 years since we finally got that properly dialed.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's about right.
Out of an 8-year company.
Yeah. I mean, we have a system for feedback, and we're pretty dialed with doing at the cafe level, at the roastery level. All of our frontliners, they get one-on-ones all the time. So there's a
Yeah.
schedule for when people have one-on-ones with their leader. Those one-on-ones are, feedback and growth conversations.
Right.
So what we really try to do is let there be no long stretch of time where people don't know where they stand
Yes.
in the world. So when you're addressing things on a regular basis, you're building this rapport with your team members. You're giving them a space where you can have these open and honest conversations about how
Right.
things are going. So what we've done really well is just it's rare that these things are a surprise when
Yeah.
they happen. It's not like I haven't talked to my boss for 8 months,
Sure.
and now I have 30 things that I want to unload on him,
Yeah.
and it's this really awkward conversation. Like the more you touch base, the easier all these conversations are.
This has been a big process, though. You're reminding me, right, of how it used to be when there wasn't. Again, everybody's going to go through this in their own way, but when there wasn't as much support, and say like I was in charge of retail, and I was supposed to be having one-on-ones not only with the team leaders at the time, 4 stores, but also all their coordinators, which was at the time they had 2. So it was like, how in the world am I going to meet with 2, 4, 6, 8? 12 people ish in some form and one-on-ones at all, and that was one thing, and let alone that then. So one, it was like establishing leadership and connection points, meetings, like today being a good example. Wednesday is like it's an all upper leadership meeting, but it's also all the leaders meet with their direct departments, leadership teams. That's one thing. But we used to also have the like, how do I get a raise and so on and so forth. And even that, like now we have a passport where it answers a lot of those questions for frontliners. This is the amount of raises I can get in my first year. Here are even all of the benchmarks and behaviors and skill sets I need to learn to get myself there at these specific timelines. Like those are all answers to questions people may have. Beyond that, how do I receive a raise year over year? We worked on that. There's a percentage that you can get. So I'm giving examples of things that were not easy, but maybe give you ways to look at your place of business and say, what are the questions that keep coming up that keep sucking us in for these one-off conversations? And that's where we had to. Those are great indicators of things that you need to address. Are we still getting called in to have conversations, one-off conversations about random leader X, and what are the values or behaviors that we haven't made clear that allow us to either move this person along and fire them because they're not a good cultural fit and or behavior fit, or what are the other side of this? What are ways for us to answer the question of this person deserves a raise or to move up into leadership versus someone else? And man, that was a lot of work actually.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of all of the work and people here in this room right now that I can point back to that have stepped in places to take responsibility, answer those questions, systems we created with everybody that allow touch points for personal development as well. To your point, there's a lot of shit that went into that I'm like, it's very intentional that we took a lot of time over those years to go from 3.5, 4 years ago, sucked into a shit ton of conversations to we only need to be called in. We almost never need to be called in now. We actually have people.
We're working with our leadership team for the most part.
And they all have answers to almost everything now, which is kind of insane actually. So hey,
no, it's really
give you some
cool
bones real quick.
reflection moment right
bones
there.
Everybody emotionally in here.
And then if you're looking at how to approach conversations when people bring things to you, everything's framed from the perspective of the values and the mission of the company. How you're responding to whether it's frustrations or feedback for you or things that employees wish would be better. It's not about how you feel about that person. It's not about how you even feel in the moment.
Right.
It's all got to be framed through this mission and values lens. And that makes all of those conversations much easier. Because when you can point to one thing and say, look, like, let's talk about this in the context of the values. Like, where are we going wrong here? Where are we going right here? Break that down. And I mean, if you want the book, Coaching Habit is the best book on having feedback conversations.
It is.
The 7 essential questions. I love the 7 essential questions.
Good one. What was most helpful for you today? Okay.
Right. That's a good one.
No, I just
my
like that
favorite
one in general.
question. What do you want?
I know.
It's the best question ever.
Right.
It puts all of the emphasis on the other person to all of the it makes them do the heavy lifting.
You have to articulate
right?
it.
What do you want?
Yeah, it's not on me to figure it out.
That's usually the response to that. I don't know. I'm just really frustrated right now.
Okay, well, cool. You're frustrated.
That's fair. Cool.
Tell me why and what, and what
Glad
do you
we
need?
got
What
there.
do you want?
Yeah. What's the real problem here?
What's the real
for
problem
you?
here? What's the real problem here? And
dude,
there's somebody circling back on that one.
Outsourcing information is the way. This is a good one. Allowing staff to see that you are involved, but dealing with the perception that you are not.
I mean, it's so real. I mean, something that was so it's kind of like, it's not a question. It's like an open-ended, like, how do you allow the staff to see that you're involved versus dealing with the perception that you are not? I mean, this is really I think this can be true, especially when you are trying to find a way to allow for growth. So sometimes allowing for growth means that you put a leader in place of yourself so that people see now this person instead of you. And with that comes a lot of things. It comes the need to trust. It comes a lot of self-consciousness, I think, as a business owner at times, because people will say, well, they used to do this and now they don't do it anymore. And a lot of people probably love the way, I know they love the way that you and I make coffee and what it feels like when we're behind the bar. So
Everybody does, bro.
I've heard a lot of things around that. And
Funny.
I mean, there's ways you can address it, which we're actually working on right now, which is like owner intro videos and like, you know, with a company of our size now of over 100 team members, you need to be able to, you can't see them all the time, so you have to be able to address that. So we actually are working on for like owner intro videos of, hey, this is who we are, what we're about, and what's going on in general, and some sort of snapshot, so that people who get hired can see our faces. So when we walk in, I mean, something that Chris and I do when we introduce ourselves to new team members, some of which who haven't seen us, because not everybody's a coffee nerd, potentially like yourselves, who see our faces before they come to the company. Well, we introduce ourselves as like, hey, I work here with you, and it's just not make it feel intimidating. And that's funny for people who are in the industry who maybe come visit us and are like, you just introduce yourself as a person who works here? I'm like, yeah, dude, I don't want to make it weird. So whatever, there's that. But it's also true that you have to grow often or you're going to stay in the same place. And with that comes the need to put people in leadership, to trust them to run something that you once ran. And so two things can be true. One, you could be the owner who does that and then just like doesn't do anything. And that's places in the world. That's not us, but that's places in the world. And that is what it is. Like, if your culture is good and the people are all happy, that actually can totally be fine. You can totally own something. People own things all the time that they don't necessarily take place in. And I think one way to, if you're going to be that kind of person, is to find a way to own that and take care of your people. That's not us, so it's hard for me to really describe. The other side is, and I'm not saying that good or bad, it's just not us. So the other side is, if you're going to take more time and space, there's a few ways to that. It's like, what are you working on to accomplish and with who? And I think that your leaders will be able to speak for you when you're working with them, I believe, and or things will come about that wouldn't have happened otherwise. And oftentimes the people who work for you might actually be unaware that just because they don't see you doesn't mean that your brain and time and space are being sucked up, and you might be working 80 hours a week even though they've never seen you work the 80 hours a week. And that's very true for a lot of owners. I think it's totally fair for you to find a way to work your life out so that you don't have to be burning the candle at both ends anymore. And that's actually totally fair too, you know? I'm going a lot, so just jump in. I'm just like,
yeah, I
have so many thoughts and they're like flowing in here.
I have a lot of different feelings about this topic, and I think a lot of it comes back to what kind of business you're trying to run,
right,
which is something that I say a lot because it's really important to understand for you, like, what is your role in the company,
right,
as an owner? What does your role look like? And then once you know what your role looks like and what the expectations you've set what expectations you've set for yourself, I think the easiest win that you can do is communicate those with everybody else,
right,
so that there's no vague situation happening, which is what you're talking about we're doing. So, we have 100+ people on staff. We do most of our work out of the Swift Street Roastery, which is near one of our cafes. Cafes are spread all over town.
Right.
There's definitely people that work here that I've never met before.
Yeah.
So one of the things we're doing is creating these little introduction videos that'll be part of orientation that say, hey, my name's Chris. This is where we come from. This is why I'm passionate about what we're doing here. Here's where here's how much you can expect to see us on the day-to-day. Here's what's going on. And what that does is just kind of eases this tension where people aren't expecting something that they're not getting.
Right.
But I will say, in addition to that, if there is this unmet expectation or if there is this negative energy around, well, why haven't I seen Jared this week? There's probably something else going on
Absolutely.
that's not right. Because no one's going to care where Jared is if their work experience is awesome.
Right.
If they work here for Genesis and Genesis is taking care of everything culturally, everything from the Cat and Cloud playbook is being run and they're having a great workplace culture experience. And Herman's overseeing that whole operation above the team leaders. It's like, if all those boxes are checked, that's what we want.
Yeah.
And no one's missing anything.
Right.
So if there is this overwhelming feeling of negativity, maybe check in on some of those other things.
Yeah.
So I believe in that. And there, at the same time, there is this thing that I can't shake. That's just like, people want some juice from the ownership team, especially if that ownership team is out in the open, you know? So it's,
well, I think they just want to know that like owners care about the thing, the business period, like the concept of the business, like the owners have a passion for whatever it is, right? That's what I think they want to experience.
I think, yeah.
You know? And that's my belief, I should say. Yeah, that's what I believe in terms of my portion of what you're saying. Whatever that is, it could be a lot of different things, but I think they want to just like somehow experience that feeling.
Right. Or or just know about it. Because I'm
like, there's a pride, there's an excitement, something about it.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, I have so many conflicting views around this.
Well, it's because there's not really a perfectly clear answer, right? I don't think there is, you know, unless you get like, if you try to escape all of it and go to a different company, you're like, okay, the Walt Disney experience. It's like, I know not everybody in that company loved Walt Disney because there was strikes. There was people who were, you know, unhappy about things, but then there were a shit ton of people who were like so proud and happy of all of it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no way around it. And it's like, however, when he was around, people do have clear memories, right? It's like, whatever custodian, he sat down, he's all, can I ask you some questions, right? Walt Disney asked him some questions, and it's like the custodian's like, oh shit, this guy's really about it. That custodian goes, no, he's for real, right? But people who never see the person can come up with whatever feeling they want to feel, you know? So I don't know if there's a way around it, but you would never be able to convince me that he wasn't passionate about his company either. So I guess I'm like antithesizing my own thing. It's like, you know, it's
I think Disney's an interesting case.
It's tough, yeah.
If you're Walt Disney, let's get rid of Walt. Let's step out of the 50s and step into the now.
Like now.
Let's say you work for Disney.
Sure.
You would have no expectation working for a company that's got probably hundreds of thousands of employees.
Yeah.
That you're going to see the CEO almost ever.
Definitely.
Maybe once a year at a keynote speech, but you don't have the expectation that you're going to interact with that person.
No.
So that's a different kind of culture than a smaller shop culture where people might be expecting it.
So
I think the thing to do if you're in that smaller culture is to just get ahead of that expectation. Where I think it's important that people know where we come from, because for me, if I was looking at it from the employee's point of view,
absolutely,
and I'm going to work somewhere, I think it's kind of cool. Like, oh, my boss used to compete in barista competitions. Right. My boss spent 20 years engaging in the specialty coffee community in all these ways. Yeah. It's something that he did for a long time because he really loved it. And now he decided to open a coffee shop with his friends to bring this service and hospitality to the world. That to me feels like a more compelling story. I'm more engaged with that than it's just three dudes who decided to open a coffee coffee shop because coffee's hot and people like coffee.
Yeah, totally.
Those paint different pictures. So it's just kind of setting the stage for that, and also being able to say, like, hey, most of our work's done with the executive team or around here. We might not see you for weeks, months at a time,
right?
And that's cool because your team has got you. I think just setting the stage for those expectations is key.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even letting how many people today can honestly say that they've held a barista / concierge, aka red job or whatever counter person you want to call it. How many people have stayed in that position sans leadership for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years? And like we may have moved up into leadership positions, but as a whole, this isn't even good or bad per se, but when you think about commitment to a craft, we did hold jobs that were heavily barista specific focused and register focused for 6 to 10 years before we moved into these positions that moved us out of and or even like allowed us to move beyond the cafe walls. You know what I'm saying? And like a lot of people wouldn't commit to it the same way. So there's a lot of, I think, understanding there as we move into having a bigger business, which is like we have done that work for a long time. The stuff that you're doing, like we committed to it, we loved it, and we're about it as well. You know, like there's a true understanding of it that it's never going to go away. That's part of our DNA, even if we're not doing it anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like truly who we were.
And I think maybe
so committed to it.
Maybe one of the missed opportunities that we've had thus far in our growth that we're starting to fix right now is I can see how it might create a little tension when the owners have some sort of, I don't know how you say it, like notoriety in the scene. It's like,
sure,
I make videos.
Yeah, but you haven't seen us
do it. You make
do
things. We put out content that people in the industry engage with. So it's like this really interesting thing if someone's like, oh, dude,
right,
you work with Jared. How is it? And the person that works for us is like, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah,
or I don't even know what you're talking about.
Him,
like, I never
barely see
him.
that guy.
This is so cool working with Jared. It's like, I don't know. I haven't seen him for like a year. Like,
yeah, totally.
It's like, you know, and just setting the stage for what that is and saying like, hey, we're out there. We communicate to the greater culture. This is how we participate, because those things are
it's real
additions to our business too.
Absolutely.
The fact that we have these voices are a positive benefit to the business. That's not nothing, you know.
Yeah, no, totally.
But we're not the people to take care of the problems on the day to day. You have coordinators and team leaders for that,
who
and
are badasses.
And what we've seen over the years as we've set these systems in place, and our leaders are getting better and better and better,
right,
is that we just have less of those problems and less of those negative feelings overall.
Yeah, I mean,
which is great.
It's like, it's really. So I was talking to somebody about why I don't come into the cafe and like take over the bar on a random amount. And it's like a couple things, like the ability to commit a certain amount of time in a schedule is one part of it. So like coming in and having some fun and peeling off is great, but you have to think about the whole picture. You know, barista A, who I was speaking to, if I, Jared, decide to come in and do what I do as a barista behind that counter, it's going to be fun. It's also going to be distracting. It's going to be an experience that is showcasing whatever it showcases. It's really, truly going to be fun, but it takes away from the leadership in theirs ability to run their floor in a specific way, because I'm not going to be adhering perfectly to the systems. It's going to mess a little bit with how they planned on training you for the day and how they planned on doing this, that, and the other. You might not be running your position. It's just like, you might, as a person there, be like, oh, damn it, I am not nearly as extroverted or nearly as quick or nearly as whatever, and insert potentially some insecurity that might make you feel like you need to be more like me, which is not the truth. The truth is, like, being an amazing barista, we build into how things work, and you're not supposed to specifically model yourself around how Jared does this. So proving myself to you, or not, like, that's the wrong word, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, going in there and showing how I do it is what it is. It's, oh shit, this guy knows what he's doing. This is how he does it. It's a lot of fun. But if you're trying to compare yourself to me, that's not the whole point there. You know, like, it actually, in my opinion, could be more distracting and not necessarily helpful to go back there.
Well, yeah, there's a flow, there's a schedule, and you're not part of that.
Exactly. And
so it's like, I'll pour
saying,
myself a cappuccino every once in a while because I want to stay sharp, and it's super fun, but it's just,
and I'd love to go pull a couple shots and
I'm
like
a complete fucking train wreck. You don't want me on bar. I don't know any of the systems.
Yeah,
I'll get the job done.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be exactly what you said.
Everybody
it's
move
not
out of the way.
our way.
You like Chris and I make coffee how we make it for a little bit.
It's
and
atrocious.
This cup's going to be in the
wrong
spot.
Atrocious is going to be awesome, but it's not our way.
Exactly, dude.
Which is hilarity in and of itself.
Right. So you just have to kind of recognize that. It's like our ability to understand what artistry is and deliver an amazing experience doesn't go away just because our company continues to evolve and smart people continue to make this company like a better version of what it started out as. That's the whole point of it, actually, is put more amazing people around you and keep doing better shit and be smart.
Dang.
Anyway, good talk.
Ender question. This is a light one. What is your favorite shop and why? Maybe you've had special experiences. What's
in the world?
I think just coffee shops.
Guys. Do you have one like that quickly offhand when you go that way?
I have a few, but they're not maybe what you think. So I'll set the stage like this.
McDonald's.
I like McDonald's. McCafe is on fire, dude. Whoever's buying coffee over there is buying more coffee than you. So they're actually participating more in specialty industry. So McDonald's is more specialty than you. Here's my hot take. All right. You're doing piddly bullshit. for almost no one. Whereas McCafe and Nestle are just pulling the whole thing. Let's go, dude. Get on the level.
Enjoy
Let's
your
get
bottled
some money.
water.
I mean, I really love small, independent coffee shop experiences. Like when I look at companies that are doing it right, one, I really don't care about coffee companies that much. I care more about coffee shops, and I think there's totally a difference.
Yeah.
So the experiences that I have on the regular that I really enjoy are, I really like going to Austin's in Ripon, and they serve counterculture, and you would never hear about them. I think there was an article in Barista Mag, or they were mentioned in Barista Mag, but for the most part, you wouldn't hear about them unless you were there.
Right.
And they do everything right in terms of they have a really friendly staff. They have a really great workflow for their food, which I've talked about, where it's like if you order a biscotti, some sort of breakfast sandwich, a cappuccino, and a brewed coffee, you pay, and then you leave, and all of those things come to you at the same time, which is something that I really love. I love getting all those things at the same time. I don't like getting my coffee and getting halfway done with that, and then all my other stuff comes. It's like,
Sure.
It's just, again, not everybody's like that. I just love it. So I like that. I like places that are doing their thing. There's a few places, in Modesto that are doing that too. Penny University downtown, Culture Coffee. They all have these interesting takes on specialty coffee. And if you went in there, like, this is where I think people get it fucked up. Like, it's not about fanfare, blow my mind, face melted with some design that costs $10 million.
Right.
It's, what does it feel like to live in these places as a guest day in and day out? And there's a few of these places that just, like, every time I go into Austin's, I leave happy. Is it the craziest, most cutting edge design? No.
Right.
It's nice. It's clean. It's thoughtful.
Right.
It's nothing that you would see on Instagram and be like, oh my God, I have to go there.
Right.
Is there this crazy set of signature drinks that look like they're right out of barista competition? No.
Right.
But they're doing all the things right that actually matter. And I think that's undervalued in this social media heavy culture where people just want this fantastical situation. And again, I think there's room for that too.
Sure.
That's great. It's like when we were in Houston and we went to that speakeasy, you got this whole vibe. We go into this place that looks like a nothing restaurant. There's a secret door with a secret code that's behind a painting. And we go back into this cave, and then we're in this whole other tiki bar that's just like, cool. That's an experience in and of itself. But that's, that's something that you do once a month or once every 6 months. It's like the things that I value in coffee shops are, can you deliver this promise every day? And of course the coffee has to be good.
It has to be good. I'm trying to remember the spot actually right now in Houston that we went to at the last day.
And I just see that more and more from smaller independent shops now than I do from bigger companies. Like, I'm not really into doing coffee tourism for bigger companies. It just, again, no hate. It seems like the smaller people are winning at that.
It's true, dude. Where
Just
is
this
that
really
place? I wish I could remember the name. I'm so bad at names with places. Maybe look up place. This could work.
Oh, dang, dude. You're using technology
Go
to
there.
the best of your ability.
Holy crap. Could it happen? Well, I can tell you one that I really enjoy, which is really simple, and that is the little tiny spot in PG for Captain and Stoker. Just like, I really like the little cutesy. There's no proper seats. There's a bench out front, and there's a little standing bar inside, and it is like as simple as that. And I really enjoy going there. And again, it's the same thing. It's good coffee in a pretty spot, super simple, in and out. Team's nice, very direct, very easy. But like, I like it, and I like being there. And so that one comes to mind. Here we go. Just allow me. Just go. Tell me what's up. This place in Houston actually was one that like really was amazing, and it made me real happy. I'm gonna try again now. I had my map set to a different spot. Whatever. It's not gonna let me do it. But
It wasn't Blacksmith.
here we go. Hold on. No, it wasn't
was-
actually that spot. Here we go. I don't care about getting there safely. What I want to do is go in there, zoom in, and show me where it is. If I search the place and I zoom in, there we go. And then I go closer and closer. I can look at, oh, there it was, the tipping point. Dude, look at this. You'd be even happy just looking at it.
Oh, yeah, you showed me
Tipping
this.
point.
I
Yeah,
remember
look at
that. Yeah, yeah.
No, right next to it.
Oh,
dude.
93 Till?
Yeah, dude.
So what is it about the tipping point that you liked?
So I liked going to the tipping point for a few reasons. One, it was clearly super just community space. I rolled in, there were kids, there were parents, there were families, there were coffee nerds. It had switched from being a cafe in the morning to a full like bar and cafe at night. I think 93 Till is a barbecue / food thing that pops up too, but it's like
Nice.
they had a DJ inside spinning records. Well, actually, it wasn't a DJ. It was live. They were flipping records, though, like just in and out, vinyl. And it was clearly like social, dancing, cocktails, coffee. Everybody was there. Everybody could have a time. It was fucking awesome. And they had created that vibe. It was a little bit of something for everyone. A little bit of food outside. It felt like going to somebody's potluck or like a backyard barbecue.
Yeah.
And I loved it. It was super fun. And I had coffee, and then I had a Negroni out of a La Marzocco espresso machine, and that was cool. Negroni on tap.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
And good people, like boom, bang, pow. Super simple. So those two. And then I had a really cool just design experience and cafe experience in New York at Manjul, and Manjul. And it was like high-end food in the back, really pretty, really simple. Again, not even necessarily like there's a tree growing in the middle of the place, which I love, some greenery inside. And they were really nice. They were using nerdy stuff, but it wasn't like
Tree,
it was fine.
tree growing inside reminded me of Public Us.
Yeah. Oh, and
in
I love
Vegas.
Public Us
That
too.
place is
That's
great.
actually one of my favorites of all time. Food
Really,
and drink.
really awesome food, really awesome drink, good vibes, good energy,
Yeah.
cool Japanese theme. Just, I don't know. It just feels.
That one's awesome.
It
Awesome.
feels right.
I went there every day that I was in Vegas, which
yeah,
is
I like
2.
that. If there was a shop like that around the corner from me, I would go there every day.
Yeah, dude.
For
And
sure.
They have a lot to offer in that place too. A lot of options that are all good. So I mean there's more than that in the world, but if you're talking about cafes I like, those are some, and they're
Yeah.
in different places.
It's such an interesting question because there's so many specialty cafes.
Oh dude, wait, what about
You know?
one of my favorite experiences ever was at oh gosh, what is it called? It's in Baltimore now.
Oh, yeah. Where David's at.
Yeah, David and Sherman and David. But wait, Mark. Wanderlust. No. It's a new name. Mark. What is their names? I can't. Sherman and David spot. Baltimore. Catalog might actually be my favorite place to go ever in the world right now if I could go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Catalog.
Yeah, dude.
I haven't been there.
For real. I mean, and I got like the perfect day. It was like, no, I just think it is. Their vibe across the board is unparalleled, awesome, killing it. And then it was just sunny and it was epic and it was good.
Yeah.
Catalog for life, dude.
Hey everyone, that's the podcast for the week. Thanks so much for listening. If you heard something that inspired you, or if you heard something that gave you more questions than answers, send us an email to podcast@catandcloud.com. And if you're looking to know more about us, then head to our website at catandcloud.com, where you can find everything we have to offer. A great place to start would be The Answer, our house coffee that's right for any occasion. Or the Best Friends Blend, a coffee that tastes just as good as the good it does by donating $1 per pound back to our partnering producers. Also, if you're feeling extra friendly, connect with us in the usual places, like YouTube, Instagram, pretty much everywhere that's hip. All right, that's it. Thanks for being awesome, everyone, and we'll be back next week.